Hello, everybody. This is Jake Stenziano, host of the Wheelbarrow Profits Podcast, here with my co-host, the multifamily mentor, the coach, the chef, the father of six, the best-selling author, the G-Dad, Gino Barbaro. Gino, how's it going?
Happy New Year, Mr. Stenziano. I'm doing great. How you doing?
Bringing the pain, baby. Today's guest is John Steinhofer. John is a multifamily specialist at Caldwell and Gregory Laundry Services. He's been in the laundry service business for a number of years, and we've actually done a few laundry deals with John a couple of years back when he covered our area. John brings a wealth of knowledge and solutions for investors looking to systematize the laundry aspect of their business. So without further ado, John, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Hey, John.
I had to throw that Steinhofer in there because my old college football coach, we had a guy on the team named Steinbacher, and he'd always yell at him and go, Steinbacher! So I had to throw that in there, man. Sorry about that. Anyways, getting back, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started in laundry sales?
Well, actually, I've been involved in for a number of years, about 15 years now. It's going on. First, I was in New York with my old company. We won't go there, but I was in New York. Just got a job, started in administration, accounting department, and actually, they had a branch down in Atlanta, Georgia. Moved down here, decided to stay on with the company. And long story short, a sales position opened up with them. And I said, you know what? I'm sick of being behind a desk. I like to get out there. I like talking with people. I like meeting new people. I like doing new things, trying different things. And I said, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try the sales position. So they let me on. Worked with them for many years in that respect, down here in the Southeast. I do Georgia, South Carolina, and Tennessee. And then as companies do, sometimes they merge with another company, and they got a little bit too big for their britches. They got let a lot of people go. And that led me to a fantastic opportunity, thanks to LinkedIn, actually. Someone heard what happened with me, and they knew me from years past and decided to give me a shot for their company down here because they were not in the multifamily arena down here in a large respects. They were mainly colleges and universities. And I sort of took that challenge about 3 years ago now almost to open up their multifamily division down here. And hey, that's where I'm at. Caldwell and Gregory has been a great find for me and been a great fit so far. And I love what I do.
So who's your service geared to, and why that demographic or that market?
Well, right now down here we do multifamily, properties, apartment complexes. What we actually do is provide washer and dryer service for the complexes that do not want to take care of that themselves. They're in the apartment industry. They rent apartments, they lease apartments, they keep tenants, and we provide some help in keeping those tenants, especially on properties that don't have washer dryer hookups in the apartments. There are a lot of older properties out there, especially down here in the South, everywhere actually, that do not have washer dryer connections, and that's where a company like mine fits in. I go provide the machines at no cost to the property. We take care of the service. And, of course, for that, we take a portion of the revenue that's generated from those machines.
So let me ask you, what are the pros and the cons of working with somebody like you? Because there's always the good side and there's the bad side. So if you can lay those out for us, I'd appreciate it.
Well, there is no bad side. No.
True salesman here. Woo.
Well, obviously, if you have a complex that has, say, 100 units and they have, 8 washers and 8 dryers and they're taking care of those machines themselves, that's great. They get to keep all the revenue. They keep all the revenue. They don't have to, pay anybody any money. They don't have to worry about if the machines get vandalized or not. Hey, it's their machines. So a con really would be that, hey, we're going to take some portion of the revenue. However, if you flip that around and look at it as far as the service goes, because if you've got a maintenance guy or two on a property with 100 units or whatever you have, if that guy's going to stop his day to fix a washer because it's getting used all the time, or if he has to go out, the owner has to go out and buy a new washer or a new dryer because the motor went or the pump went or the heating element's gone, it's just not heating anymore, that's a cost. And that significantly eats into your cost. If you hire somebody to come in and fix it from Sears or from wherever you're going to hire somebody, it's going to be $150 just to have them come and look at a machine. So that revenue, on the other hand, is going to be provided back to them because they're not going to have the headaches of having to call for service. They're going to call us and we're to be there the next day. They're not going to have to worry about a motor blown because we got some on the truck. We'll just fix the machine. So in things of that nature, especially on a complex that does not have washer dryer connections, It really, really, really takes a lot of headaches away from the management, the office manager, leasing agents, etc.
I don't want to discount this, but a couple years ago, I would have said this is a stupid comment. But the time that it takes to go collect the coins is serious. Especially if your complex is a little spread out. And I used to have Gino used to pick on me because I used to have this I'm a mentality. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do everything, right? And that's fine. But I'm starts to run out of time after a while. So I don't want you to discount that either, because I think it's just the time to go around, collect them, take the coins to the bank. However you have to do all that. That all eats into your time freedom. So I think that's a big service as well.
Add to your point there, Jake, not only that, but if you're not the owner on site or have somebody that you can 100% trust,
yep.
A lot of times, if you're an off-site owner, you have to trust your manager or whoever's on the property to collect those coins and be honest about it as well, which tends to be an issue in some cases.
Gino,
also,
what'd your dad say about dollar bills?
What do they say about dollar bills?
Getting sticky.
Oh, with the cash. That's all. We're talking about coins here. Coins are even worse. The cash walks, my friend. That's what happens,
Card systems now where you do credit card systems too, online accounts and things like that. It's gotten pretty fancy over the last few years. So, there are different ways to avoid that. But with those sort of systems, now you're adding a much more significant expense as well. If a property owner really wants to get a card system or something like that, you're talking thousands of dollars.
So can you just go over what services you do provide? Let's say I just bought an apartment complex. How could I get in contact with you and say, John, I've got this mess here? Because Jake and I have taken over properties from mom and pops where machines aren't working. We just throw our hands up and go, what do we do? So,
Right.
Walk me through the steps of, how do I get in touch with you? What services you're going to provide for me?
Well, most of the times, and it's quite honestly, most of my leads come from the Atlanta Apartment Association right down here, or Knoxville Apartment Association, South Carolina. They look, and we're a member there, so they say, okay, I need some laundry services, and they'll go up under laundry, and they'll find 2 or 3 companies there, and they'll call and get 3 bids. Obviously, I go out right away as fast as I can, meet with the property owner or manager, whoever's in charge of that task, getting a bid. We go over the property. How many units do they have? How many units without hooks they have? How many machines do they have on the property? Is it the right amount of machines? And I'm going to tell you exactly why it's either too little or too many machines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then once I get the numbers, I'll ask for some revenue history. Okay, look at the price, what they're charging for a wash and dry. See that stuff. Is there a contract in place, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So once we get all those ducks in a row there for that meeting, I come back, I take the numbers, and I will do a bid for machines. I'll say, okay, well, we talked about putting possibly a card system in here. We're going to do coin system, and we're going to do a card system as well right at the machines, and that's the bid that we're going to give. So I'll work on the numbers. I'll get that approved, and it usually takes maybe I can get it turned around in 2 days, 3 days, as quick as that, which is pretty quick because I find most of the times when I'm up against a competitor, they don't get their bids in that quick. Most of the times it's their machines because they don't want to put the capital in there, but that's another story. Anyway, so we get that done. Of course, I'll go present a proposal, and it's very nice. It's a paperback proposal. It comes binded and bound, has exactly what we do, our services, what we're going to do, how we're going to put machines in there. It's going to call us out on when we're going to show up, who are you going to call for service. And to be honest with you, one of the reasons I love this company so much is you can actually, as an owner or a manager on a property, call the technician directly and say, hey, D, we have a machine down. How soon do you think you can get here to ABC Apartments? And they'll say, I'll get there tomorrow morning. You'll always know when they're coming and going. We fix the machines. But anyway, so we get the proposal in their hands, and then quite honestly, it's just, working out little details, little numbers. Do you want bonus in there? Do you want more monthly revenue in there? Would you rather have a coin system, or would you rather have you spend a little bit more money out of your monthly revenue to get that card system going?
Explain the card system for folks, because they may not know what you're talking about.
Well, these days there's a couple different kind of card systems. One is a simple old traditional system. It's based on an ESD system. We use a company out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, that's called Waverider System, and the WavePoint system. The WavePoint system is very simply, hey, you know what? Every resident gets a card. We're given the cards. They don't have to buy them. Now, if they lose them, they do have to buy another one. But they're given a card, and they add value to that card. So the machine box will have a cash box in your office. They'll come in and put $10. It'll add the value to the card. They take that card and go into the laundry room. Now, sometimes that unit can be put inside the laundry room. Depends upon security. Do they have cameras? Is it locked up? Is there something monitoring it? Or so on and so forth. So the good part of that is, hey, there may not be any money revenue in the laundry room at all, so it curbs theft and vandalism. Bad part about that is, well, if you have a cash system inside your office, you're not open 24/7. So people want to do their laundry at 7 o'clock at night. They're coming home from work. They can't add value to the card. They can't do laundry. You lose revenue. Now, what we do in that case, what Caldwell and Gregory does differently is, not only would we put a cash machine in the office, but we will take a credit card machine called a micro machine, and we could put a credit card add value machine inside the laundry room.
So you don't got to worry about cash getting ripped off the wall.
Right, exactly. And people on the weekends, on Sundays, on Saturday afternoons, if your laundry room is open 24/7, which some are, they can add value to that without an issue, and you retain revenue and grow and increase your revenue at the same time.
And security.
Right, yeah, exactly. And the other kind of card system is, it's just simply a lot of times on properties, not everybody has credit cards. Not everybody has, not credit cards, but cash accounts, things like that. So they still like the coins. They're older property. We find that, properties with some older people, folks that have been there for many, many years, they tend to just love coins. And they have a lot of them, and they love to use them. I've been on properties where I've put card systems in, and I've gotten so many complaints from some of the residents. Hey, we like the coins. Uh-huh. That kind of instance, if you have one of those properties, we have a coin system, but you can also have the ability to add a credit card reader on top of that machine as well.
I like that.
You would have the ability to put coins in if they still want to keep the coins. Because, hey, you know what? Most of the systems out there, Northeast is really going a lot of card systems, but most of the systems across the country are still coins. Mm-hmm. And you can add a credit card, so you go, boom, you stick your Visa, MasterCard, Discover right at the machine, and it goes. Now, the added benefit to that system that we have, and that's called the Waverider System, the added benefit is your residence in your complex has an individual account, online account called My Wavevision, where the folks can actually see the laundry rooms and the machines if they're running before they take their clothes down there.
Wow. So, that's some next level stuff right there, buddy.
Yeah.
It's great. So, you say, I got 3 loads to do, but we only have 5 washers in our complex. Let me see if there's 3 washers available. They look real quick, or they look on their cell phone, and they say, oh, yeah, all machines available. Good, I'm going to bring my clothes down there right now. So,
wow. The cool thing about that is we have some complexes with 16 different laundry sites on them, or 5. So what you could actually do is pinpoint it, what's heavy right now and what's not, and then you could adjust before you even leave your home.
Yes,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So John, let me ask you. Jake and I are buying an apartment. Let's say next week. We're going to be closing next week. When should I contact you to get the ball rolling, to get a quote, and to get those machines on site? Because I know there's a lead time involved in that.
Not with Steinhofer. Steinhofer's next day delivery, baby.
Deal. No, yeah, usually, because we don't keep, hundreds of thousands of machines in a warehouse, home office. We order all the machines every time we make a deal. So our machines use Cpi machines. They're the #1 commercial machine in the market. They're made in Ripon, Wisconsin. So, if once we get the deal signed, that's when I can order the machines. Get the deal signed. That takes about 3-4 weeks for those machines to come in. If we have a card system, we have to order that as well. So it's usually 6 weeks, give or take a couple of weeks. Sometimes depending if we have a busy school schedule, because we do a lot of universities where, over the holiday, over the summer, we switching out machines. So we're very stretched kind of thin over there. So I would say 6 weeks just to be safe.
So you guys, when you close a deal, you might have to wait a little while, because I don't think you want to sign a contract until the deal is closed, because the deal falls through. Jake and I had a deal fall through last month. So just plan on that 6-week window. You can always tell the tenants, listen, we've got some really cool things coming on board. We're going to be getting new machines. So at least let them know what's going on, but get your ducks in a row as soon as possible. That's what I'm hearing, right?
And here's something too important as well, to add to that point real quick. When you're buying a complex, looking at buying a complex, always see if you can get your hand on that laundry contract if there is one, because there's a lot of old contracts out there, and a lot of them have either an auto renewal clause, which isn't always all that bad, if you're with the right company, but they have an auto renewal clause, and your machines might be 10 or 12 years old, and it's coming up for another renewal, and now, hey, you know what? Too bad, so sad. We don't have to change out machines. So you want to check that as soon as you can. Also, what they may have in those contracts is something called the right of first refusal clause. We don't put that in our contracts, but we can get around that sometimes. But if they do have that in the contracts, it may it will help you as a new property owner, because you can still get a bid from another company, and they have to match the bid and keep the business, but at least you're forcing their hands to give you a new lease for yourself and a new set of machines for your complex. So it'll work in your favor to get that lease up front.
So, John, when you take the property over and the contract's got 4 or 5 years left on the contract, you're basically assuming that contract, correct? So you've got really no negotiation, right?
Right. And a lot of times different states have different laws, but if you buy a property out of foreclosure, if it's bought out of foreclosure, many times those leases can be null and void. Also, if they're not recorded in the state court, a lot of times those leases can be null and void also. So you're going to want to check that as well.
Okay, so what else do you look into in that contract? What else is glaring that you really have to pay attention to? I mean, other like revenue splits and all that. What are you looking in there for?
Well, a lot of times in those leases that you'll take over a property and get a laundry contract, you're going to see that they have an increasing deduction. A lot of times in leases with other companies called a Cpi Clause, and basically it's an excuse, to the rate of inflation for them to increase the deduction. So, say if you're in an agreement that has 90% paid over. 8 years ago, it might have been $29 a machine. Well, now due to CPI increases, it might be up to $42 a machine. So you're going to want to call, them right away and say, hey, what is my terms right now? What am I getting paid? And if you don't have the lease agreement already, because it can go up. So in other words, if you get the lease agreement during the due diligence and it says $29 a machine, and then you're looking at your check saying, wait a minute, it should be a lot more. Why isn't it? That may be a reason why. So that's one thing to really pay attention to as you go through that.
Mm-hmm. What size complex makes sense with laundry companies?
Any complex. I mean, I did a 16-unit apartment complex, put one washer and one dryer in. I just did a 700-unit complex this year, the Legacy, fantastic place. That place is $60,000 a year in coins. Imagine counting those coins as a private owner. But we changed that card system in the office, and they have 2 rooms with 32 machines. We have a micro machine in each one. And let me tell you something, those residents absolutely love it. That revenue is increasing. It looks to project to $70,000 a year, and we didn't even increase the price. We're only at $1 and $1. So, I mean, just adding something like that can really, really increase your revenue and increase your usage.
Are they planning an increase there?
Sorry?
Are they planning an increase there?
In the price?
Yeah.
No.
They should.
They should. They could. They love this complex. They really, really, really. It's an independent owner. He's owned it for over 20 years. He just loves the residents. They have a lot of workers that live on site, and they just don't want to. The income is there. I mean, it's good enough for us. I mean, we don't really care. As long as we're making what we need to make for the deal to work. But yeah, they could. But he chooses not to. So,
how many units do you break it down to per beds? I mean, how many machines do you need in there per unit wise?
And this is so funny because I go into complexes all the time. Like we have, I'm doing one up in Ackworth right now, Georgia. They had 5 washers and 6 dryers on I think 274 unit complex that all have washer dryer connections. Now, she gave me the revenue numbers, and the revenue numbers broke down to, I think, only about on average 18 units using the washer and dryers. Now, when you have only 18 units doing the washer and dryers, let's say they do 2 loads of laundry a week, you don't need 5 washers and 6 dryers. I tried to go down to a 3 and 3, and I told her the math. I said, this is why. Because you're not even getting, a turn and a half per machine per day. These machines are geared to last 7,000 to 10,000 turns. You can really, really use these machines, and we don't want to spend the capital. And not only that, I don't want to take out a monthly percentage for machines that aren't being used. Because other companies base themselves on, I'll get off in a little tangent here real quick. They base themselves on how many machines they have out there. They don't care if they're used. They don't care if they're broken. They don't care if they're old. They don't care. That's how they value their company. We value our company based on the profitability of each machine individually. So if we have machines out there that aren't, making money and that are taking away money from the ownership, I mean, that's not good for anybody. So we don't do that. So we tried to reduce the machines in an instance. Now, she didn't want to go below 4 machines, 4 washers, 4 dryers, and I said, fine. But general rule of thumb is every 25 units that have washer-dryer connections, you want a washer-dryer set in there. When you have a complex that does not have washer-dryer connections, every 10 units, you want 1 set. That can go up and down a little bit based upon demographics. Maybe this complex has all 2 bedrooms. Complex has all 1 bedrooms. Maybe it's a little bit more income complex or a higher income complex that they're going to afford their own machines anyway. So we look at that at that point. So that's a general rule.
So why, not to get off on a tangent myself, but why weren't they using a laundry on that property? I mean, that's a lot of units, and really to have only 3 machines, that's really low volume there.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, the income suggested, and you could do, if you're looking at, even if you had 50 of those units, then you may want to do the 5 washers and 5 dryers if you had 50 units that were using it. But who knows? That property was probably, let's say, a C+, B- property. Mm-hmm. So most of those folks, were in an area where they're going to be able to rent their own machines. A lot of them are younger. They go home to do laundry a lot of times. So, they're just not using the machines. And quite frankly, they don't need all the machines there.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens that way. You have some complexes. I'm doing one right now, actually, in Lawrenceville. I did a bid for. They have 2 laundry. They have a 460 unit complex, 2 laundry rooms, 32 total washer and dryer machines, and they all have 100% hookups, and they're doing about $2,400 a month. So you never really know what's going to happen. You just got to take the history and run with it and see if
mm-hmm.
if you can keep it up or bring it up.
Mm-hmm. John, what is a typical revenue split that you guys get with these contracts with these owners?
Well, Caldwell and Gregory does things a little bit differently. But I will say this. My goal is to always try to get to an area where I can do a 50-50 split. And whether it's reducing machines to give them that extra money, and a lot of times, Gino, I come into a property and they're getting a very, very, very small portion of revenue. So my goal is to, number one, satisfy the residents and retain residents. Because I've said this to a lot of owners right in meeting with them. I say, hey, if I could save 1 unit from being turned over this year, I just saved you $1,500. In a turnover cost, or whatever your cost might be. Some are $1,200, some are $2,000. He's like, and I've tried to go, yeah, you know what? I never thought about it like that. And it's like, that boggles my mind, because if you have a great laundry program, you're going to keep and retain residents. So that's my goal. So secondly, is to alleviate the management office of headaches of things always breaking down, them having to make calls, them having to follow up calls, them not knowing when somebody comes to service their machines, because that's another thing. We always stop at the office no matter what. And then, of course, to at least retain what they're already getting in revenue, if not increase it. That's my goal. So if I could do that, I'm a hero, because I know I'm going to provide better service. I know we're going to provide a better product, and I know we're going to please a lot of the residents and your staff. So if I could at least, and a lot of times in my contracts, if I can get your history of your income, I can guarantee that your income in the first year will not be less than what you made the previous year. And then we go from there, because we're going to increase revenue through our promotion. When I go on a property, I put up a tent. We do giveaways. We do a cooler with chips and sodas. I greet the residents as they come home from work. I'll stay 3-4 hours and hang out. If it's a laundry card system, I'll give out laundry cards to the residents, get to meet them. We do drawings so they know about the product. Number 2, I put a door hanger on every door. We do a 50-cent wash and dry promotion for a week. So anybody that hasn't been using it before or was fed up with it before knows we have new machines on that property. We're going to give it to you for 50-cent wash and dry. And if it's a card system, I'm going to give you 3 free washes and 3 free dries just to try the machines. So we're going to increase revenue that way. And lastly, of course, we're going to increase revenue because most of the times with those kind of products, we can increase, if it goes to $1.25 to $1.50, that's money that's going to go directly into the owner's pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So that's we always retain that revenue and give them the highest split that we possibly can, because we need X amount of dollars to make a machine to provide the level of service that we have.
So you've already highlighted a bunch of good things that we should be looking for in laundry providers. But what else makes a good laundry provider? What should an owner be looking for? Response.
I mean, quite simply, if you wanted to talk to my president, Bob Dinney, today, you can give him a call, leave a message, he'll call you back. I mean, that's the kind of organization we are. If you try some other companies that I've worked with in the past to do that, you'd never, ever do it. I cannot tell you how many times when I'm doing a bid and I'm in a bidding war, oh, yeah, I'm trying to get that information. I can't get in touch with my rep, or I can't get in touch with the office, or the office staff gave me another number and they gave me another number. You can't do it. You call me, I'm going to get you the information that you need right away. And that's the bottom line.
Jake, why are you laughing over there, bro?
Because he's probably been through that before.
No comment.
Well, you know what? It's sales 101. I'm just doing a training yesterday, and it's 50%. The person who responds within the first hour of getting a lead or problem is gonna get the gig. It's just like sales 101, and people do not follow that, right, Mr. Tenziano? Talk to me, bro.
You're good, bro.
I know you're better, bro.
Moving
Anyway, let me ask you, what's the best laundry advice or tip for the listeners you got?
Don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. It can be a huge attraction to your property. If you've got two properties in the same area that you're looking to live, okay, and you're 22 years old, 23 years old, you're either just out of college, you have no money, you're looking for a cheap apartment to live in, but this one, has no washer dryers in the unit, and this one has no washer dryers, and so you have to use the laundry room. Well, this one's got a nice, big, beautiful system, brand new machines, got a card system. They're always taken care of. You're going to walk in that room and show that resident that room. And then the other person, well, what about your laundry? You're going to walk in that room and find 15-year-old machines that don't work. Two of them say out of order on them. You have a resident in there that's complaining. Where is that person going to get the apartment? Don't ignore your laundry. You don't ignore landscaping. You don't ignore painting. What's the first thing people buy properties? They do painting, they put on a roof, or they do landscaping, and they put a new sign out there. Oh, great. But what's inside of your complex? And that's one of the things that's inside your complex. Don't ignore your laundry room.
No, I agree with that. The Park Place deal we did, that was a big issue. Is that the mom and pop owner was their big thing? She wanted to go around and collect the quarters. Remember that, Gino? And then when we upgraded all those machines, it made a huge difference. It was a really big deal. So
I have to say that the water bill went up, and one of our partners complained that the water water usage went up. But
because the machines worked.
Yeah, because we're generating revenue, and sometimes you can't quantify revenue with contentness, and you can't say, "Oh, I made an extra amount of money." But we did have tenant retention, and to your point, also, I'm sure a lot of guys came on and stayed with us because they like those laundry rooms now. They're clean. We actually had to add more machines. We had to plumb in and add a couple more machines on the property. So I totally agree with that point, and it's just like I guess a paradigm shift when you're a mom and pop like Jake and I were the first property we bought. We would run around, but by the third property, you're getting worn down. Your maintenance staff is going to get pissed at you. You got to take out the lint. You got to collect the quarters. It gets to be daunting. So, 50% might seem like a lot of money, but I think we can really justify now because you're going to be increasing the revenue on that because you're going to be servicing it more and you're going to be giving better quality, I think.
More times than not, the machines are not down. The machines will always be up, and you're gonna retain residents that way because nobody's going to leave because they can't do their laundry. So, it's really a win-win for everybody, and that's why, we do well.
Mm-hmm. We got into a little bit of the nitty-gritty, and I just want to circle back around and just have you tell the listeners one more time, why should a complex get a laundry service? Just general terms, because I know we kind of dug deep. We talked about revenue splits, talking about this. Just an overall, one more time through so we didn't miss anything.
Well, to start again, even add a point, these machines, commercial machines, the government keeps stepping in and making new standards. And, as new standards come out, costs go up. So as you buy these commercial machines and have to put them on your property, the costs go up. The average cost per machine on the cheaper end, could be $800-900 per machine. So you got 20 machines on your property just to go over. All right. The first thing you want to do is spend $20,000 putting the machines in there. You're not going to do that. So that's number one. So it relieves headaches. Not only do you not have to get capital, but in many cases on a property that size, we can give a sizable bonus. You want a small project you have to do.
Paid up front, right? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, here's $5,000. Here's $10,000.
Yep.
Whatever it's going to be. And a company like ours, we're going to pay that bonus within 30 days of installation.
That's
so
huge.
we do a big deal. I did a 84 machine deal in Knoxville, Tennessee. They got $35,000 bonus on that deal. That's huge for them. We're keeping the same revenue. We only raised the price 25 cents, and you know what? We gave them $35,000 for the deal.
And all you're doing is paying in advance, right? You're paying a year up front or something like that.
That's not an upfront commission. That's bonus on top
just
of your
for signing the deal.
Just for signing the deal. So depending on the size of your deal, of course, that goes up or down. So it's going to relieve headaches. You're going to make your property look nice. You're going to have an easier time leasing up the property because a lot of times people buy properties and they have to turn over this unit or turn over that unit, do some turnover. Well, this is going to make it a little bit easier to sign that lease, get that get that signed, because now you have a new laundry in there. So it's going to relieve headaches, no stress. You're going to know how to get in touch with myself or my staff at any point in time. You're not going to have to do a capital outlay, and you're going to get money up front to do the deal. You won't have to worry about it. So, I mean, we try to make it a win-win for everybody.
So you got resident retention because you got new nice machines coming in. The tenants are really liking that. So you're showing that you're and guys, this is big because the tenants think you just spent the money for all these new machines. So wow, look at this new owner coming in spending all this money. Meanwhile, Steinhofer just gave you a check for $35,000, right? So you're getting paid for while the tenants. So it's really, you're looking good. Better service. You're not going around collecting coins, and you're relieving stress from your maintenance. I think that's huge because, as all of us know, maintenance gets busy. These guys are flying around, all the time. They need more time. You're always trying to find time for your maintenance guys. So if you can, relieve them from having to work on laundry machines, that's really big.
Absolutely. I'm
gonna come sell with you, man. I'm gonna go out and sell some of these machines with you. I'm gonna tell you, take me out for a ride along, all right?
And Jake, I think this dives into one of our strategies of repositioning a property. You don't want to raise rents on tenants unless you start providing value, and this is the first value you can provide. And all of a sudden you got this new laundry room going in, and then people are like, "Well, why'd you raise my rent $50?" Well, I just provided a great service for you that you didn't have or upgraded it. So it's subconscious, sending something subconsciously. You're going to be cleaning the laundry room, you're going to be painting, and you're going to be throwing in a whole new laundry room. So I mean, that's a great way to add value to the tenants.
Yeah, and we buy from mom and pops, and I don't know any of the mom and pops really that we purchased from that had laundry service. They were all old, dilapidated machines. We came in and put the new ones in, and tenants really appreciated that from day one. So I took a few notes. I really like the credit card technology option in addition to the coins. I think that's really big. And then you made a few points to watch out for. Watch out for the auto renewals. Watch out for the CPI. And I really want folks to realize that when you're buying an apartment complex, there's businesses within the business. This is a business within the business. So, just think about that. What is a good way for listeners to get a hold of you, John? So if they say, they're in Atlanta, they're wherever in the Southeast, and they want to give you a call after listening to this show.
Well, first thing you do is always look at the local apartment association. They usually will have, us listed as a vendor. Secondly, I mean, hey, it's Caldwell and Gregory. If you just, look at laundry service providers in the Southeast or the East, or we do business from Texas to New York and most places in between. So, those are the easiest ways to do it.
Very good. Well, guys, I think that about does it. Gino, you got anything else?
No, I just think that, like Jake was saying, it's an extra stream of revenue. It's an additional revenue stream, and it's at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to capture revenue, and we're trying to provide a service. So, both of these at the very beginning when Jake and I took over, we said there's no way. But you know what? When you start getting a little bit bigger, you have to start thinking about these ancillary revenue sources. So I think it's a great thing. I think you guys need to get in touch with John if you're buying a property, even if you want to have him take a look at a contract. Hey, listen, John, I'm really confused about this contract. There's a year or two left on here. What should I do? I mean, and John would be more than willing to get out there because he knows he's going to get your business with the service he's going to provide. I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, and just to add to that real quick, one thing I do for several of my larger management companies that have multiple properties, I'm working with Adderhold right now. We get all their leases, and I put a spreadsheet together of all their leases. I'll put their terms together. I'll put it together for them when they have to call to cancel if they want to. Because sometimes, you have to call on the 9th day of the 3rd month of the 6th year to try and cancel the contract, right? Mm-hmm. And so it gets confusing. And reading these contracts all the time, as I have over 15 years, I know exactly when. So I'll put all their, what you're making, what your revenue is, and I'll put that on a spreadsheet, and I'll give it back to them and say, okay, here's, and I'll follow up with them for them as part of my service, even before I have a deal with them. So
that's great. Last tip for you guys. If you ever want, and this goes for just about anything, you want to find the pitfalls in a contract, call the competition. Right, John?
That's it, man.
So, hey, guys, this has been great. If you guys found value in today's show, go on iTunes, subscribe, leave us a review. And, John, thank you so much for your time.
All right, guys. Thank you very, very much. Great to see you. Have a happy New Year, everybody.
Thanks, John. Take care, guys.
All right, man.